Hi everyone, thank you very much for tuning into the channel. This video is all about the most common myths that I hear as a mortgage loan officer working in Puerto Rico, helping people purchase properties here. I hear a lot of the same myths again and again, and a lot of these things are preventing people who could be making purchases from getting to the closing table. So let's see if we can debunk these myths. Ready? Let's jump in. So the most common one is that you have to be a resident of Puerto Rico to purchase any property at all. That's not true, right? So you figure if you're coming to purchase a investment property or a vacation home for yourself, you don't have to already reside here to make that purchase. Now, if it's for your primary home, you also don't already currently have to be residing in Puerto Rico to purchase your primary home. Now, that being said, the most important factor, and I've said this in lots of other spaces, but I'm going to continue saying it, is because the most important factor is that your income, the source of qualifying income on a mortgage loan application, that income source has to be here in Puerto Rico or follow you to Puerto Rico and remain the same, if not better, right? So if you're one of those people that you're in love with Puerto Rico, you're determined to move here, you quit your job and you moved, and now you're calling to get a mortgage, I'm sorry, you can have the best credit, you can have all the money in the bank, but if you don't have an income source, there are no loan programs for you, okay? That's just the fact of the matter. It comes down to income. So lots of different ways that this can work out. So if you have an employer in Puerto Rico, you're good to go. We can probably get it done. If you have an employer elsewhere that's not in Puerto Rico, but that they will put in writing for you that we authorize, this person, our employee, to live and work in Puerto Rico full time. Beautiful, cool. We can use that income. Or if you have an employer maybe elsewhere and they can put in writing that you are allowed to work remotely 100% of the time. It's an employer letter that says you can work remotely 100%. Cool, we can use that income. Or if you have pension income, that follows you anywhere. Any other kind of retirement income that would follow you, that's no problem. Trust income. If you have Social Security income, if you have VA disability income, if you're self-employed and you can manage a team from a distance, or maybe your company is a virtual, like an online one, those are all different types of income sources that we can use to help you purchase your primary home in Puerto Rico. But you don't already have to be a resident to later become a resident, like to purchase your primary. So hopefully that clarifies the issue about being a resident or not and making a purchase. The next one we hear a lot is that you have to have a local bank account in Puerto Rico to get to the closing table. Nope, that's not true. I have many clients who have no local bank accounts, and we're able to get them to close. Perhaps it might make certain things in the transaction a little easier for you if you can pay more effectively, like ATH Móvil is like a money transfer service that you can only do if you have like a local bank account. But there's other ways to send money. The things that you're going to send money for, first is going to be the earnest money deposit. That can be a check or wire transfer, between any kinds of banks. Next is going to be, you're going to have to pay for an appraisal. We manage that. If you get financing through us, we manage the appraisal. We just send you a link and you can pay with whatever payment method you want. Same for the title search and title study. And same for like if there's a plot plan survey done, we just send you a link and you pay it and we move on, right? It doesn't have to be a local bank. And then at the end, to close, you're going to be asked to send a wire transfer to the escrow account of the title company. That can be from any bank from which you can send a wire transfer. It can be a local or a mainland US bank. As a matter of fact, if it's a local bank, the local PR banks take about 24 to 48 hours for the wire transfer to actually be deposited. I don't know why it takes a little bit extra time for those banks. So that can be an instance where having a local bank could actually delay your transaction, because like if we're waiting for the funds to arrive before we can close, obviously that's not going to be ideal. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind, but you do not need a local bank to get to the closing table. Another very common myth is that you can purchase your primary home in Puerto Rico if you're going to live there for more than half the year. Folks, again, it doesn't matter how many days you plan to spend in Puerto Rico. It matters if the source of your qualifying income on the application is going to follow you and remain the same here in Puerto Rico. The underwriters are going to assume you're living, if it's your primary home, that you're living here 365 days a year, or 366, like as it's a leap year this year, right? 2024. But aside from that, it doesn't matter the number of days. Nobody's going to ask you how many days. If you say, I'm buying my primary home in Puerto Rico, we're going to assume you're living here 365. You can tell us whatever number you want. We're going to look at the income. Another very common myth, well, maybe this one does have some truth to it, but I think it should be a myth that it takes a long time to close on buying a property in Puerto Rico. It really, assuming a smooth process, right? Assuming that there's not any issues that come out on the appraisal inspection, like if it needs repairs, then it's going to take longer to make the repairs. Or if there's an issue that comes out with a title search, like some information doesn't match up right, or there's an inheritance issue, well, those things are going to take a while to get ironed out. But other than that, assuming a smooth process, like our average is about 45 days between when we get the contract and when we've got everyone sitting at the closing table. 45 days. We've been cleared to close on a VA loan in Puerto Rico in 17 business days. It can get done quickly. Our company, we don't make the excuse, oh, it's island time, it's all going to be slow. No, if you start out with that assumption, it is going to be slow. And so like we are, pushing, we have good relationships. That's what it really comes down to. You have to have good relationships with quality providers of services to get the thing done. So like, for that reason, we've been operating now for going on 3 years just in Puerto Rico, combined with like the 15 years before we got here. And so like we have good relationships here. We can get this thing done as quickly as possible, assuming that everybody plays ball, like we get the documents that we need, we get the information that we need throughout the process, and we can get you to close. Another super common myth is that there exists in Puerto Rico a beachfront condominium or a bunch of beachfront condominiums for $150,000 or less. I don't know where how this myth started. I don't know why we get so many phone calls, because I talk to real estate agents every single day who are like, oh, please, somebody else looking for the white whale. And the white whale is the $150,000 or cheaper beachfront condo. Folks, maybe that was the case a couple of years ago. That is not part of the inventory these days. Maybe you can get it close. Maybe if you're buying a place that's been abandoned for a while, cash, you can make that happen. But like beachfront, $150,000? No, maybe like close to a beach, maybe, but not beachfront for $150,000, folks. That is not a part of the inventory, so that one's a myth, sadly. If you find them, though, if you find one, give me a call. I'll take two. And the last and perhaps the most devastating myth is that there's no good buyer side real estate agents in Puerto Rico. Guys, that could not be further from the truth. I know many very, very good agents that will represent buyers, that do represent buyers, and they do the searching for them, and they're responsive and they're bilingual, and they get us to the closing table. So it all comes down to, do you have good relationships? Do you have a good team? And so if you're not pre-approved and you're just calling people willy-nilly and nobody's returning your call, and you don't have a bank statement showing that you've got all the funds ready to make the purchase tomorrow, it's going to be hard to get your phone calls returned, guys. It's a lot more competitive here. And so step one is have a good team and if you want to use someone else's money to make your purchase, get pre-approved. Guys, once you're pre-approved, and if you come to me, I can help you with getting pre-approved, and then we can link you up with a good buyer side agent. And if who we send you to, if they're not being responsive, well, let's find a better fit, right? And so like there are good buyer side agents here. That is a model that does work. It's just, who are you calling and what are you saying when you call? Like if you're not pre-approved yet and you don't have bank statements, it's just so competitive here that you're unlikely to get your phone calls returned. But those are the most common myths, folks, as far as I see it. These things, if we can shift the understanding a little bit, I think it's going to help more people achieve what it is that they're looking for as far as purchasing real estate in Puerto Rico. So hopefully you found some value in this video. If you're still watching, wow, thank you so much. Maybe hit the like button or the subscribe button down below. And if you want to know if you qualify or if you want to get started and explore the process, then please, my contact information is in the description below. It's just an exploration, like applying for a mortgage. It's not, there's no hit to your credit. There's no obligation, and it's free. And so like, if you want to know if you qualify, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be very happy to help. But anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.